Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Hashtag AskGSM, the weekly Monday mailbag video where I answer your questions from Facebook and Twitter right here in this video forum. I apologize for the shitty lighting. I'm filming this a lot later in the day than I usually do. I had a conflict earlier this morning, but nonetheless, a huge day in the world of wrestling. We had Elimination Chamber last night. We had the launch of the WWE Network today, a revolutionary concept. If you're watching this later in the week, then you probably already saw the epic edition of Raw, what it's being looked at as one of the best episodes of Raw, and it hasn't even happened yet in quite some time, with the return of Hulk Hogan, probably The Undertaker, and much, much more. So I'm very much looking forward to that here on February 24th, 2014. But nevertheless, let's get to this week's questions. The first one comes from Jared J. from Facebook. He asks, do you feel that the American Wolves, who won the tag team titles last night, Bad Influence, and potentially the reunited Beer Money Incorporated could reestablish the TNA tag division? Now, the TNA tag division was amazing a few years ago. As early or as late as 2010. Those are the years, or that was the year when we got that amazing series of matches between Beer Money and Motor City Machine Guns. And later in the year, the division kind of fell off the map. Same thing in 2011. 2012 was stupid. 2013 sucked for tag team wrestling in TNA, and now it's kind of the same thing. First of all, I like the move of putting the titles on the American Wolves. I hate the bromance, not in a heel-like way. I just hated the bromance. I like Robbie E. I just don't like the bromance. But that being said, I love Bad Influence. Love Beer Money, of course, if they get back together. Now that James Storm's a heel, so I would love to say that the TNA tag division will get better, will be resurrected, so to speak. You can't do it with only 3 tag teams. If they add more teams and they have the roster to do so, then yeah, I could definitely see it being a new renaissance of tag team wrestling in TNA, much like it is in WWE right now. His next question is, who is the one face that's never been heel and the one heel who's never been face who you'd like to see a turn from? I can only speak for WWE here. One face that's never been a heel. John Cena's been a heel, so I won't say him. Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston debuted about 6 years ago. Has never been a heel in his career. I've been dying to see him turn heel for quite some time now. I think it'd be a nice gimmick change. He hasn't done anything in forever, and I don't count his pin over Orton on Raw last month because that literally meant nothing. It essentially meant nothing because they didn't follow up on it correctly. But Kofi Kingston is one person I would love to see turn heel that has never been a heel before. As far as a heel that has never been a face, probably Jack Swagger. I was going up and down the roster and trying to look who hasn't been a face. Probably Cesaro, actually, because Cesaro's been a heel for like 2 years, Swagger like 6. But probably Cesaro or Swagger. Swagger more so because he's been in the WWE longer and we've seen him as a heel for so long, so it would be interesting to see him turn face, but Cesaro is definitely up there on the list as well because he has massive potential as a babyface. Ross S. asked, what are your thoughts on Elimination Chamber? Now, I don't want to go on a huge rant about this. It will take up the entire video. I thought it was a good wrestling show. The opener, Wyatt Shield, which was amazing, and the main event, the Chamber match of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Enjoyed all those matches. The other matches were kind of mediocre, exceptional, or just crap. So aside from that, I thought it was a decent show. I thought it was a good show from an in-ring standpoint. It was predictable as heck, and Elimination Chamber pay-per-views almost always are, so there's no surprise there. It wasn't the problem with the pay-per-view itself, because I didn't really set high standards. I was just kind of looking forward to it, because when am I never looking forward to a WWE pay-per-view? But unless it's WrestleMania with Batista and Orton. But I don't know. Even still, I think I'm just more dissatisfied with the direction of the company right now and the direction they're taking on the road to WrestleMania. So I thought they would switch it up a little bit at Chamber. They didn't. Unfortunately not. So the pay-per-view was okay. But if you want to see my full thoughts on it, you can check out my review on Next Era Wrestling or listen to Wrestle Rant Radio. All those links are in the description below. His second question was, if you were in the WWE, who would be your champions? WWE World Heavyweight Champion, undoubtedly Daniel Bryan. Give him the title at WrestleMania. How he gets that? How did he get to the title picture at WrestleMania at this point? I have no idea. We'll have to wait and see until tonight's Raw or in coming weeks. The Usos as tag team champions, same thing again. Give them the titles at WrestleMania. AJ, she's fine, and she is fine. But I mean, seriously, she's okay as Divas champion, so keep the title on her. Intercontinental champion, same thing. Langston, I'm okay with him. It's fine. I really like Big E Langston. Him with the title is fine too. As far as U.S. Championship, I like the title on Ambrose, but he never defends that goddamn title. So I would take it off of him and give it to Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd, you never see him on TV. He came back for 2 appearances in November and was never seen again. So, you know what? Give him a push. Give him the U.S. title. I think he could do some really cool things with that title if they gave him the chance. At the Average Grunt from Twitter, He asks, do you think Cesaro is being set up to take Punk's spots? Very interesting question. I don't think so. I love the push that he's getting right now. I don't think that he will be the one to replace CM Punk, because you can't replace CM Punk. I mean, technically you can, but CM Punk was the top second guy in the company, for my eyes, from my perspective, behind Cena. So that being said, it's gonna be hard for someone to replace him other than Daniel Bryan, maybe. But Cesaro, maybe if he turns face, because Punk was one of the top faces in the company, so maybe if they turn Cesaro face, I don't think he'll be main eventing any pay-per-views like Punk was anytime soon. But even still, I think if they groom him and they continue to push him, I think he could be a very a top player in the WWE if they book him correctly. His second question was, what do you think about Sandow joining the Shield as their strategist after Reigns goes solo? He does have a mean streak. No. Sandow, I think that's a better scenario than what was the other one? Mason Ryan, that was rumored a couple weeks ago. No one should replace Roman Reigns. When Roman Reigns leaves, they just need to either end the Shield or just keep it going with Ambrose and Rollins. There's no way they need to add anyone else because it's going to ruin it. So that's what, like with the new Nexus, when they added new people, that was garbage, and it just went downhill from there. So yeah, just leave Reigns out of it. When he leaves, either you keep those two together as a tag team for a while, or you just split it up altogether and you don't put in new members. That's just stupid. The next question, at 2000 Awesome, his question was, which will you be watching on Thursday, NXT Arrival or Impact Wrestling? Well, I'll be getting the WWE Network on Thursday. Sorry for anyone outside of the United States. That sucks that you can't get it until late 2014 or early 2015, but I am hoping to get it on Thursday just in time for NXT Arrival. That being said, I don't expect anything amazing to happen on Impact, and even if it does, I'll watch it on delay because NXT Arrival is a huge event, a lot of awesome matches lined up, so I will be watching NXT Arrival live on the network this upcoming Thursday night. At Michael Partham, his question was, how legit do you think Kamala's comments about Vince McMahon are? Now, I didn't know what you were talking about, so I went up and looked it up, and because I wasn't aware of the comments that he made, and I guess they were made over the weekend. And Kamala said that the WWE was very much racist during the time that he was there, so that was just out there. It said that racism dominated the WWE, that Vince McMahon, from what Kamala said, he liked you if you did sexual favors for him, and if you arrived on time and did what you were told, he didn't like you or respect you as much. I have a hard time believing that. I mean, I never worked for the WWE. I don't work for the WWE. I have no idea what Vince McMahon is like behind the scenes. Even people in WWE probably don't know what he's like if they've never interacted with him before, you know? So I can't make assumptions. It sounds a little far-fetched, but there's probably some truth to it, right? I don't think racism dominated the WWE, but he might have been treated unfairly during his time there, but I don't think if you arrived on time, he disrespected you. I have a hard time believing that, but that was a long time ago too, so times have obviously changed. But I don't know, I have a hard time believing it, but there's probably some truth to it too. At KillaJF, his question was, how will WWE produce the Undertaker matchup at Mania? Lesnar, Sheamus, whatever. Promo, attack, and will it happen tomorrow? He sent me that on Sunday. If you're watching this later in the week, you probably already know the answer to that question. But I just see Undertaker returning tonight on Raw, and then Brock Lesnar attacking him, or something along those lines happening. I think Lesnar Taker is happening at WrestleMania. Do I want it to happen? No, I'd rather see Sheamus versus Taker in all honesty. Sheamus is a more fresher opponent. Is his character crap? Yes, it is. I love Sheamus. I'm a huge Sheamus fan, especially after the Royal Rumble, and I got his number in the Rumble game. But aside from that, he's very good in the ring. I think he'd be a better opponent for Taker. I think he can still go in the ring. Lesnar is very, very physical, and so is Sheamus, but to a lesser extent. So I would go with Sheamus over Lesnar. I would go with Cena over anybody, but obviously he's locked in for Mania with Bray Wyatt at this point, which is unfortunate. So yeah, Lesnar will probably attack Undertaker this upcoming night on Raw, tonight on Raw. So if you're watching this later in the week, you probably already know the answer to that question, but I'm just answering that for the people that are watching this before Raw, during Raw, whatever. His next question was, plans for Hogan other than the Mania host, post-Mania plans, and other contract ideas, thoughts. First of all, there was a report going around, much like there was with Sting, to put him in the GM position. Don't do that. First of all, the GM position is terrible. I think I said this before in past videos or on my show or whatever. But the GM position is completely and essentially worthless. Brad Maddox isn't even on TV nowadays, and he's supposed to be the Raw general manager. The Authority dominates everything, and when they aren't on TV, Kane is taking over the day-to-day operations. So the purpose of a Raw GM is pointless. Just have Hogan come in, do a few spots, not physical spots, but I mean just do a few appearances on Raw every so often, maybe on a pay-per-view like WrestleMania or SummerSlam or whatever. He's very valuable to the WWE. He gets a lot of media attention. So I love the fact that he's back in WWE. He did nothing in TNA at all to help them whatsoever. Maybe a few things here and there, but overall it was a complete waste of his time, our time, and TNA's time, to be quite honest with you. But after WrestleMania, I think he signs a legend contract, sticks around every once in a while. Every week on TV as a Raw GM, I don't think so. And the last few questions, the first one from JJF Tweets, his question was, should it return, who would you book as the face of the Cruiserweight light heavyweight division from the current roster? That's a very good question. Evan Bourne, Tyson Kidd, Yoshitatsu, who hasn't been on TV in forever. I don't know if you would put Ryder in there, probably not, but I would say probably Evan Bourne when he comes back, or Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd's on the active roster. He's wrestling, just not on TV, which sucks. So probably Tyson Kidd. Evan Bourne, I think, would be perfect. Rey Mysterio, you could probably throw in there too, despite the fact he's been World Heavyweight Champion a number of times. He's not doing anything recently anyway. Maybe Kofi too. Sin Cara / Hunico, throw him in there. I think it would be a great roster if they come up with their own show for them on the WWE Network or whatever. The last two questions come from at Mr. Tebow Fan 5. The first question from him is, do you think there will be an Undertaker versus Bryan match, or ever will be an Undertaker versus Bryan match? Not specifically at Mania, he stated, but I think maybe at some point. I don't know if it's going to happen at WrestleMania. I would like to think so. I think that could be a very good match. Is that high on my list of dream matches? No, not really, but if it happened, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think it would be a great match. Bryan could get a great rub from The Undertaker. Will it ever happen? I'm going to put my money on it and say no. Undertaker doesn't have many years left. He doesn't wrestle, for the most part, outside of WrestleMania. I know he did a few matches last year after Mania, but that's a whole other story. He was only around for 2 matches anyway. So aside from that, Bryan versus Taker, I think, could happen. Will it happen? Realistically, probably not. But I would love to see it either at a future WrestleMania or whenever else. And his second and final question was, do you think that TNA is on the uprise? They had much better shows lately. The tag team division is looking great. This goes back to the first question I said earlier. The TNA tag team division is improving. I'll give them that. It's getting better. They got the Bromance. I don't know if you can. They're a tag team. I hate them, but they're a tag team. The American Wolves, Bad Influence, hopefully Beer Money if they get back together officially pretty soon. So they have quite a few tag teams, but they need more tag teams. You need more than 4 tag teams. They had a period last year where they were just trading the titles between all a group of 4 tag teams, and it was getting stale. They had Bobby Roode and Aries, Bad Influence, Gunner and Storm, and Chavo and Hernandez, and it was getting extremely stale. Just because you have 4 good tag teams doesn't mean you have a division. So they need more tag teams, and they need stories. They don't have any feuds going on right now. They just randomly won the titles, the Wolves that is, at a house show. So I think it's pretty cool. It's unpredictable, and it will convince people to go to house shows more for TNA. But aside from that, though, are they on the uprise? I don't know. I didn't really like their latest show, but that doesn't mean they're doing terribly. I think they're doing better than they were a few months ago, but they're kind of just fluctuating right now. So I wouldn't say they're on the uprise, nor are they on a downfall streak right now. I think they're doing okay, especially with MVP back. It's becoming the TNA television shows right now, I think, are better more often than they're not. So I'll just say that much. But hopefully they can continue that in coming weeks. And with all that being said, that wraps it up for this week's edition of #AskGSM. If you want to send in a question, make sure to like my official Facebook page at GrahamGSMMatthews and follow me and tweet me on the Twitter with the #AskGSM at WrestleRant. All the links are down below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe as well. I will see you guys next week. And this is GSM signing out. The next one, guys.